It is May the 18th, 2006. This all began on April 25th, 2004. We were having a barbecue at my house Saturday afternoon. I had my nieces and my nephews over. My husband went to put my son Zachary to bed, and he tripped over a cable wire, fell on top of him, breaking his leg, his right femur. He was rushed to All Children's Hospital, where he remained in traction for 2 weeks. During that time, a social worker from the hospital called DCF. They came out and interviewed us. They charged my husband with aggravated child abuse, took my kids away from me. During this 2-year ordeal, I completed my case plan, which consisted of a PAR evaluation, parenting class, and domestic violence support group. I did all that. I went to court last month, which would have been April, and they took my rights. The Judge Fleming, looked at me and said, in her opinion, she didn't think I learned anything from my classes. I have always been there for my children. I love my children. They're my babies. I would do anything from them, and as long as there's air in my body, I'll fight for them.
Susette, let me ask you, so in other words, you personally, so your husband's being charged?
Yes.
Okay. Are they charging you with abuse, abandonment, neglect?
No, they said it was failure to protect.
Failure to protect. Because your husband tripped over a cord, accidentally fell on your son, and so now your son's been taken from you.
Yes.
And you've lost your parental rights.
Yes.
Okay. Let me ask you this. You're going, now how long has he been in jail now for this?
He's been in jail. He was originally bonded out on this charge September 27th, 2004, but he ended up going back in because they hit him with a failure to appear because his lawyer told him not to come to court because it was being continued.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Does he plan on contesting these charges?
Yes.
And so he's going to take it to trial?
He goes to pre-trial in the morning.
Okay, good. Okay, so let me ask you this. Do you, can you tell me the situation? You guys you were pregnant, is that correct? And you had another baby?
Yes, my daughter, she was born July 2nd of last year.
July 2nd?
July 22nd, I'm sorry.
Okay, and it is, the way I understand, they also took that child from you?
Yes, they went to my mother-in-law's house and asked her if she was ready to take another child because she had had my boys at that time, and she said she didn't think that would be an issue because I was doing my case plan, and they said they were taking her. I had her by cesarean. I had her on the east coast of Florida to avoid any confrontation situation. 2 hours I was out of surgery. They walked in my room. DCF told me if I didn't sign adoption papers that they were taking not alone her, but my boys, because they both had blonde hair and blue eyes, and they would go quick. Their exact words.
So in other words, your daughter was taken from you.
Yes. Well, I was forced to sign adoption papers.
Okay. So let me, it just sounds almost unbelievable to believe. And Susette, if there wasn't other people that this is happening to in Pinellas County, especially with Judge Fleming and the state attorneys falsifying documentation.
Dr. Booten.
Dr. Booten also, who has done, in our case, Dr. Booten said in 3 months that he did, from January to March, he did over 100 evaluations, being paid $500 per evaluation by the state. He's been in the court system, the juvenile court system, for over 30 years working with Judge Fleming. He's the same person who evaluated my wife and said that she was not adequate to be a mother, and she's been a good mother out of 4 children, and she has no history of ever abusing, abandoning, neglecting children, and upon his recommendations that she wasn't fit to be a mother. And I mean, after an evaluation of 15 minutes and 3 hours of filling out tests, whatever they were, this was his conclusion. And so we just want to thank you for being here. And the intent of this of this video is to show what's happening here in Pinellas County.
Another thing I'd like to add real quick is I told you last month they took my rights. Come to find out, the judge never signed off on the order, and she doesn't have any intentions on doing that until July. I found out. I don't know if they're waiting to see if my husband's convicted or what the deal is, but they haven't even signed off on the order, and they're not even giving me visitation. I don't even know what's going on with my son. If he wasn't calling me from Morton Plant Hospital every time they Baker Act him, I'd have no idea where he was.
Your son is how old now?
He's 6 years old.
Okay, you told me this evening that your son called you from the hospital.
Yes, he did.
Can you tell us how that happens? How does that work?
He remembered his grandmother's phone number, and they let him call from the hospital. I don't know why or how, but I'm just grateful.
6 years old.
6 years old. And on Adderall and Risperdal because he's ADD now that they took him from me.
They pronounced him ADD?
Yes.
Okay. And that's the attention deficit?
Yes.
Correct. Okay.
Something that I'd like to add, that my son told me today on the phone, because this is his 4th time being Baker Acted, is he deliberately does things to go to the hospital so he can call home because he knows they'll let him call.
Now this Baker acting, I mean a 6-year-old child Baker acted?
4 times.
4 times.